Who is the host of Jeopardy? Hello, my name is Gabe. If you're watching this video in the future, you might think I'm being kind of cutesy by starting a video of Jeopardy, about Jeopardy, like that. But it's not a joke, it's a genuine question. A question that's been on a lot of people's minds for the last little while. Jeopardy is one of the world's most beloved quiz shows. And for as long as most of us can remember, it's had one host. No, he's not the first host, but he is the one that we associate with Jeopardy. I am, of course, referring to the great and late Alex Trebek. But with his unfortunate passing has arisen a question among anyone even remotely invested in the show. Who is going to take his mantle? Who is going to stand behind that podium? And I would love to give you an answer in the form of a question right now. It's been a very difficult question, as it turns out. Amidst a lot of internet discussion, and a lot of controversy, we have had the showings of many great and many not great candidates for the job. And ultimately, there have been many reasons for why person A should take the job or why person B should. It's been quite a story. Hence why I'm even talking about it in the first place. Because I like to talk about stories. I guess this is a real story. But with any narrative, it's going to need a conclusion. So, what is the best ending for this story? That's what I want to try and determine today. So, I guess I should first clarify something. I am almost certainly not the most qualified to pick the next host of Jeopardy. I am even only a casual fan of the show myself. I've watched a fair few episodes, but I don't go to my way to watch every one, and I don't watch it regularly. Just when the mood strikes me. I emphasize this to say, here's some salt. You should take a grain of it with what I'm saying. I am approaching this as a man of stories. That's what I am. A man, a person, a place, a thing of stories. I adore stories, and I look for them in everything. And reality has just as many stories as fiction sometimes. This is a reality story. Name pending. So, I guess I gotta bring up the big guns. What does a Jeopardy host need to be? It might not seem like it, but the late Alex Trebek put a lot of hard work and soul into making that show what it is today. The best host is someone who, while not imitating, can at least put in an equivalent amount of work with an equivalent of good result. I think is passion. I always say this. Passion for any hosting job, or any media job for that matter, is number one. You must have a love for what you're doing. The knowledge, the people, and the game. The next host of Jeopardy should not be someone who's never heard of Jeopardy. Or someone who would struggle to answer a single question on Jeopardy, or rather. And of course, someone who loves the Jeopardy fanbase, the Jeopardy audience. That is, I think, a vital component of this. Who among the loads of candidates qualifies? I'm sure to that degree, tons of them. I know that many of them had stated their love for Jeopardy in the past. What's the next thing? Well, obviously, they need to be uncontroversial. This is probably in of itself a controversial thing to say, but if you're running a show or any type of media, association matters. You're going to want to pick people who aren't going to hamper your brand. Recently, we've seen the consequences of not doing that. At the very least, don't make a big show of going out in the wide world and picking people just to pick yourself. That's just stupid. But even among that controversy, things you've said, stances you've taken, the fans of Jeopardy tend to look at the world in a very specific way. Knowledge, trivia, truth. They might not seem to be things that are immediately apparently resounding with the show, but it is. It's a trivia show. You need to be able to respect trivia. And trivia is true information. Most of the time, at least. So, obviously, again, surely a lot of the people have no major controversies that would drag them down. And that's fair, I'm sure. Some minor controversies can never truly be avoided, let's be real. Everyone is going to make a mistake at some point. So, what's the next qualification? What is the next thing that you need to be able to do in order to host Jeopardy? You need to not overshadow the show. This is why I'm making this video. This last point is what everyone's missing, or at least not really understanding. At least not to the degree I think they should. Okay, so what does it mean to overshadow the show? To overshadow the game, to overshadow the contestants. What does that mean? Well, to start with, if I look up your name, the new host of Jeopardy, that is, presuming that somehow you get the job, congrats by the way, I should see Jeopardy. Jeopardy should be the first thing that comes up. Don't get me wrong, a lot of the people we've been putting out there, who've even had a chance in the sun, are great names, with amazing accomplishments, both intellectually, as personalities in media in many forms, or surprisingly enough, athletically. However, that's the problem. If I look at these people, I'm not going to find Jeopardy. It's not going to be the first thing I see. Jeopardy is going to be a minor part of what they do. And as long as it's a minor part, it's going to be hard to push them as the face of the show. At least in my opinion. Okay, I hear you saying back. So, a lot of the TV personalities, athletes, and so on may be out of the question in this case. But what about the GOATs, the greatest of all time Jeopardy players? They are 100% associated with Jeopardy. And you're not wrong. That's what they're known for. But they may not overshadow the show and the game, but they do overshadow the contestants. Which I think might even be worse than overshadowing the game itself. Going on to a show like Jeopardy, performing in front of a huge crowd of people that you can see, and an even larger crowd that you cannot, all over the world, is already a huge amount of pressure. Undeniably so. It's not helpful to the production of the show and the longevity of contestants wanting to go on, to have a constant reminder of what you're striving to beat in front of your face, answering the questions. It's just too much pressure. The GOATs probably have the know-how and ability to host the show. I just think they're pressure. Having a reminder of a feat you probably won't reach is disheartening, and it's going to affect the contestants. So, all of that to say, clearly I don't think X or Y should be the host. Who do I think should be the host? That is a difficult question, and I can't give you an answer. Not because I don't know what it takes to be the host, but because I think that unless we're personal friends with them, the next person who should be the host is someone none of us have heard of yet. This is my stance. I think the next host of Jeopardy should be an unknown. Somebody new. Somebody who has a passion to the show and obviously auditions for the job, but is number one and first and foremost the host of Jeopardy. Someone who has not done anything else yet. At least not in the public eye. Is that an easy person to find? Probably not. And admittedly, it would be a lot less of a flashier headline, let's be real. Super ultra billionaire celebrity Bob McBillions hosts Jeopardy. That's the headline. Average Schmo Joe hosts Jeopardy? Not so much. So, what? What should they do? I don't think they will. Which is unfortunate, but that's how it goes sometimes. But what they should do is have an audition. Like any other show in the world. Audition. And have a lot of potential candidates to audition for the role. And pick the one who does the best job. Maybe they could even do trial shows with average people. Make that an event of itself. Either way, there'll be people who are the host of Jeopardy, but not an obstacle to overcome. I won't look at the new host of Jeopardy and think, oh my god, I have to try and beat that guy's years-long winning streak. Nor will I think, oh hey, it's that guy who plays the sport, or that guy from that one show. The new host of Jeopardy should be someone unknown. That is the end point in all this. I would tell you who that is, but I can't. I hope this video is somewhat insightful into my mind, even if ultimately it doesn't sway you. But I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe leave it a like. If you want to see more like it, I analyze stories, real and fake, that I take interest in. Why not subscribe to see what it is I end up talking about next? But more importantly than any of that, and I do sincerely mean this, have a good night.